Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. Tonight we have episode 10 of Tears of the Dreamer, our Pathfinder 2nd Edition actual play. I'm Pete, the Games Master.
Simon, I'm playing Variel, the warrior elf.
Hi, I'm Leon, and I play Boomer, the goblin alchemist.
I'm also Simon, and I'm playing Ak, the half-orc barbarian.
Ben, and I'm the protagonist, and they're all my sidekicks.
Ah,
I'm playing Rubric, the seer elf.
Excellent. Right. This may very well, and I think it will be the last episode of Tears of the Dreamer for a while. We've had a lot of fun playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and it's not over as far as Pathfinder 2 goes on the channel because Ben will be continuing his Path of the Pilgrim show, and that will be going weekly from next week. So that's cool. So you will still have Pathfinder every week. However, this will be the last episode of Tears of the Dreamer. It's been lots of fun, and we are going to get on with a few announcements before we get into a recap and the session. So we are Twitch affiliates, so please don't forget you can subscribe to the channel. If you're an Amazon Prime customer, you get one free Twitch subscription a month, so please consider using that to support Garblag Games. A big thank you to our sponsors for the show tonight. I'm not sure if you saw it on our cover screen there. Incarnate, the awesome web browser-based map-making tool. They are sponsoring us, and you can see all the maps we've made for the show are in Incarnate. And in fact, we give them all away to our Adventurer Tier Plus patrons over on our Patreon, which we just had a couple more patrons join us, and we are nearly up to 50 patrons again. It sort of keeps bobbing along around there. So thank you to all those awesome people who do support us. And if you're watching this back later after the live show, please go and check it out at the links below. I think on Twitch in the About Us section, there is a link to our Patreon as well. Don't forget to check out all our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, all that lot. There's loads of news going on there, talking about all the shows that are coming up. And also check out our Discord, where we share information, secrets, and information with our patrons, our viewers, our friends. And there's lots of stuff going on there. There are chat games going on. It's kind of exploded recently into lots of people playing lots of games actually on the Discord server, so it's really cool. So you should be able to find that in the About Us below, or if you're watching this back later, again in the video description. Cool. Okay. So we should probably start with a recap from last time. So hang on. Let me just do this. Where are we? Here we go. Let's go roll 1d4.
I heard
3. I think that is Rubric.
Gather round, young ones. Let me tell you a tale of our adventures. Right. So, yes, we had gone out to find these mystic scales that had fallen from the sky, or find out what they were. It turned out to be scales. Evil bugbear army in between us and them. We had to get around those. Idiot cultists in between us and them. We had to rudely awaken them as the nature of their stupidity. Then we got the scales, and it was really easy, and nothing went wrong, and there were no difficulties whatsoever. And then we put them on a wagon, and we rode them back until a giant tentacle fell out of the sky with undead fishmen in it, and they popped out of it and fought us and lost, seriously.
Yes. I'm still getting used to the encounter balancing.
Yeah, but most of the NPCs died, except the really annoying, useless one. But we have still got 2 cool ones, Martin and someone else.
Yep.
Don't remember her name. She's a dwarf.
Edenry.
Run away.
They're still with you. And the Parrot Ravine.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Parrot Ravine. He's the idiot.
Yes.
Nobody likes him.
Mhm.
Then we went back to the ruins. Last session was when we went back to the ruins where we'd
Yes.
started the adventure.
Yep.
To find that Eticaps had killed and eaten a whole bunch of the Braktagar forces that were hiding out there. We fought in the dark and it was spooky, and everybody was like, I'm really nervous all of a sudden because I can't see the whole map.
Yes. We had
But we won.
dynamic lighting on an incarnate battle map, which is their new map style, which they've given us early access to. So that was cool.
And then we were like, well, that's cool. We've solved everything now. Well, it's just a merry trot back to Nith Roel, which is a way station on our way to Fenirieth, the elven capital, where
Mhm.
they lick icebergs.
Yep. Magic icebergs.
Magic icebergs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have clarified. The icebergs were
Yes.
magical before they get licked. At which point, giant burning something fell out of the sky and crashed into the ground. Now, Rubric doesn't know what it is because he has the perceptive skills of a newt.
Yeah, I
However,
think he could barely see it, could he?
our eagle-eyed genii were able to identify it as a gnomish flying ship come Zeppelin, and that it was on fire and leaking gnomes off the side.
Yeah, you saw some figures sort of falling from it slowly. You
They have rings of feather things.
Rings of
whatever.
feather falling,
potentially, yes.
or some kind of token of feather falling.
And you saw it kind of
Umbrella.
crash into the ground.
And because we're big damn heroes, we ran towards the danger.
Yes, you did. The flaming
It's
airship.
also about 2 days travel away, so it was not just like.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
we ran
so it
slowly
was-
towards the
It
danger.
was.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're looking at the map, it was about there. Yeah. So you think it would take 2 days to get there? You know.
We were nearly
slight
there, I
minor
believe, because
detour.
we'd done.
So you were
We've done at least-
leaving, and we were gonna.
Yeah.
The next session was going to be. So you rested, didn't you? And there
Yes.
was lots of healing going on.
Yes.
And patching up of everybody. I believe Variel's battle medicine skills coming in handy, and Boomer topping everyone up with your potions.
My medicine's okay. It's not as good as Variel's.
Well, he's got his special feat now, hasn't he? So that
Yeah,
he
auto-succeed is a
auto
always
succeed on a
bonus.
simple test.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what elves do, you see.
Just be good at things.
That's what like being 1,000 years old gets you.
that and really long hair. Okay, and you're very tall, aren't you?
Oh,
You
well,
think they
so
don't stop
tall.
growing?
Yeah. So you were making your way the next day across.
Apparently, also it means that you could do blacksmithing with no apron and your trousers hanging
Oh,
down around your
that's your
hips.
part of the pilgrim show, isn't it? Dubious images used for character profile pictures. Anyway, so the day that you travel across the woodlands of the Rimwood Wilds is a gentle shower. There's some clouds sort of rolling in around. Further away, it looks like tomorrow, maybe late evening, would be a downpour. And you make your way past the midpoint of the day. Stop, rest, your companions eating, and you continue on in your journey. Are
Were we
you
able to do any more healing in that time?
You can if you can use your skills and your potions, etc. if you wish to.
Because I could certainly use some.
Who is still injured?
I'm not now.
No, okay. It was just a D8, wasn't it? D8, I think.
I think you were 2d8 weren't you, for medicine.
It depends on what you roll, whether it's a
written
success or a
down
critical success.
I've got it written down on my
Rookie error.
I should have
inventory.
post-it noted. my
Actually,
thing.
I
I
think
don't
I've-
usually have to look up rules this early in the game. I can usually fiddle
think-
about while you guys are talking about things.
Yeah. Here we go. Where are we?
I love the index in this rulebook. If you've
It
not
is.
seen the Pathfinder rulebook, the index is incredible.
It is something else, isn't it? That is page 238. It's because on the screen, the awesome screen, it has a list of all the actions, and it has their page number that you can have them on.
It's
There
on
you
the
go.
feats.
Treat wounds is on page
No, it's on
249.
2d8.
2d8. There you go.
Yeah, it's 2d8.
Okay, because you do a
Right,
straight
I was
pass,
just-
don't you?
I do a straight pass. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just looking under the wrong bit.
No
It's a
worries.
once a day thing, though, isn't it? It's so that healing.
Yeah,
ability.
once per person a
Do
day.
you still have to roll in case you crit fail? Because if you
No,
get
he gets an
one,
auto
No.
score.
Yeah, again, auto score.
Okay,
Just automatically gets like a 17 or something.
cool.
I'll do the
There you
trick.
go.
Thank you kindly.
Anyone else?
No.
No. Okay.
Ack, good.
You're a better medic than most clerics.
So you treat Rubric's wounds, and you continue on your journey. You have it's quite tricky. You're not on a major road or thoroughfare, so you're making your way between the trees. It's sparse, it's not the densest woodland you've ever seen, though. So you're making good progress, and the end of the day comes closer, and it does in fact rain fairly heavily, but you find a copse of trees that you can bivouac down using the tarps that you had and things to try and make some sort of tent, and have another night's rest. So you can rest, heal up, gain back a number of hit points equal to your level times your constitution bonus, minimum of 1.
And if we have any problems sleeping, we'll just go and cuddle one of the scales, yeah?
Yeah. So you all settle down, and Parrot
Well,
McVeigh
thinking about that.
he's been very quiet the whole day, and he's kind of sulking because, as you remember, you'd had a bit of an argument with him the night before about what was going on, and he wants to go down to Erebag to his order. But you guys are clearly in control of this situation as much as you can be, and you're taking the scales back to Feniriath, the elven city, which he's not 100% chuffed about, but he realizes that if he starts wandering around in the woodlands on his own with all the Braktagar troops around,
Gonna die.
yeah, pretty quick. And the two dock hands wanted to go with you as well, for safety's sake, which makes sense.
So I will take a one of my short bows that I stashed at the ruins
Mhm.
with some quiver arrows, and I shall basically offer to show Martin and the girlie. I can't think what her name is.
Eredwir.
Eredwir. I will offer to show them how to shoot bows,
Okay.
and I will spend an hour or two
Do
in
some
the
target
evening.
practice with them.
Giving
Okay.
them some, point it this way. This is how you string a bow.
Yeah. They look like they've had, a go in the past, clearly. If you remember, they were shooting bows over the walls of their little camp. But they're clearly not had any kind of solid instruction, especially not like from an elven archer.
Right.
So they do appreciate the pointers and instruction that you give them. And the rest of you can see Variel is clearly trying to form his own little mercenary company or something over in the side, as he's rowed up things and he's put little Braktagar scraps of Braktagar things on trees, and they're getting little arrows sort of near them. It's getting better. What do the rest of you want to do for this evening, if anything?
I'm kind of concerned about the state of that tentacle that fell out of the sky, and I think I would like to try and do some more healing on the Leviathan, if such a
Okay.
thing is possible.
Okay. So you're going to try and have another
Yeah.
lucid dream.
But I might try and do it while the others are up and doing stuff, so that they don't get dragged along, because it seems a bit mean to
Okay.
keep
Cool.
forcing them into my dreams.
Yes.
I don't appreciate it for one.
Okay, so you're going to lie down and try to get some sleep before everybody else.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I'll do like
so let's have
elderly
your
meditation sleep.
yeah. Let's have your occultism roll. Now, remember, everybody, you have 1 hero point, and you will get another hero point at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock.
Well, I'll be spending one of those hero points right now.
And viewers, remember that if you want to, you can spend 1,000 Garblag Groats to give any of our players a reroll at any time. And it's one that they can bank for. Basically it's a hero point in these games. Or you can spend 2,000 points, Garblag Groats, to give me a reroll, which I will use for good or bad, depending on how I'm feeling. And I'm in a good mood tonight, so we'll see. Okay, so you start to get into your meditative trance that you need to, and you're there in the corner while it takes you a little while to kind of completely zone into that kind of lucid dream state. Boomer, Ack, are you two doing anything?
Yeah, my good friend Vario gave me a boar pelt that was quite awful, and I bloodied.
Yep.
And he wanted me to fashion it into. It was a gift for me, wasn't it?
Was, yes.
Yeah. So I want to clean that up and turn that into a type of cloak. I
Okay,
imagine. Nice
cool.
boar teeth decorations.
Let's have
That's what I'm gonna be working on.
a craft roll then.
Oh, come on, craft roll.
It's not going to be hard. Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does this cloak look like? It's awesome, isn't it?
It is awesome. One of the boar's like trottery bits comes around the side, and the head comes up over the top. You've cleaned the inside. You've repaired a few. Clearly, where some wounds would go, where Variel had like horribly stabbed it in the first place, which he couldn't really hide. But your careful stitching and teasing of the skin hides the wound.
Awesome.
And you've made yourself this. You've kind of find a belt buckle somewhere, off a dead body that you found previously, and you kind of salvage a clasp and like figure out a way to have it kind of one shoulder kind of thing. It looks pretty cool, pretty swanky.
Yeah. Awesome.
Need some meerkat shoes next.
Cool. Ack, what are you up to?
I'll scout around a bit, but mostly keep an eye on the sky in case any more
Okay.
tentacles, airships, tower, all the other stuff that keeps falling out of the sky is coming towards us.
Okay. Let's have a survival or perception roll. Perception will be fine. Yep.
Okay. There we go. 22.
Whoa. Okay. So you're kind of scouting around the area, making sure there's nothing, Braktagar forces, weird tentacles, falling debris. The debris
Giant
seems to have
spiders.
stopped. Yeah, there's no giant spiders, etacaps. You've been quite beset, and the wilds is the right term for these areas.
Yeah.
However, as you are sort of making your way around it, it's getting dark now, and Keldron, the moon, is out, kind of nearly full, and the moonlight glints off of a metallic object in a tree.
Okay.
It's
I'll
quite dark. It's
pause.
like a big tree. You can't quite
Yeah.
see, but you see like a glint.
I'll stop and pause and stare at that tree where I saw the metallic glint. See if I can get an idea. Is it a person?
Well, as you look at the tree, you can see that some of the branches at the top have been disturbed.
Okay. Is anything moving in the tree? If I give it a minute or two, just to pause and watch.
You don't see anything moving.
I'll sneak up on the tree.
Make a stealth roll.
What's the tree's perception?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You just see someone standing there watching Ack, like sneakily sneak
No.
up to a tree.
I'm not gonna fail to sneak up on a tree, am I?
13. Okay. As you're kind of creeping up to the tree, you tread on a twig, as there's a slight glint that kind of puts you off, and you
That triggers the bear trap.
no, you hear someone say, "Who is there? Who is there?"
Ack,
There's a slight rustle of leaves.
who's in the tree?
Don't hurt me! Don't hurt me!
Why do they always say that?
Who are you? Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding in the tree?
I had to ditch out of the airship.
You're not Braktagar. Oh, you're a gnome. Are you a gnome?
Yes, I'm a gnome.
They said the gnomes were coming out the airship, but you're
You-
one of them.
Who's they?
They
You're not troopers,
people.
are you?
No, we're not Braktagar. We're God, what are we? We're seekers of truth or something. I don't know. We're hunting scales. That's it. We hunt scales. Anyway, do you want to come and speak to them? We're going to try. We're trying to find the airship to help. But if you're here, you can tell us about it.
You see a gnome dangle down from a branch, hang down, still gripping it, and this gnome has got the blue-dyed hair pulled back. Kind of looks like it's got some sort of thick grease in it or something really, because it's kind of back in two kind of shock sides like that, backwards, and it's got goggles on and a blue beard that kind of dangles down and is kind of plaited in a neat little queue, and it kind of the eyebrows kind of, you can't see his eyes, but his eyebrows kind of scrunch in as if he's like peering a bit closer. Turn around, good fellow. Let me have a look at you.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a gnome hanging out of a tree. I'll turn around.
Right. Well, you don't look like too much trouble. Where are your ack attack? Where are they? Where you said they? Who are they?
Hey, my companions. So yeah, there's an elf and a goblin and
elves from
yes,
Feneria.
Yes.
From the city.
Yeah, from the city.
Ah, proper elves.
That's where
right.
we came from the city. Looking for bits that dropped out of sky. Now found them and going back.
The Sky Tower.
Sky Tower, scales, lots of things fall out of sky now.
Ah, yes.
Airships.
We've seen things going on in the elemental ocean that are confusing our greatest scientists. He drops down to the ground with a jangle of many tools and gears and kind of kit on his person. Zat Qualmi's the name.
Oh, Ack. Hello, Zach. Zach, me?
Zat Qualmi.
Hey, Zach.
Zat.
Come. Ack, show you.
Very well. He's kind of sizing you up, and it's like, yes. Tall fellow with a very short name. Okay. And he follows
like
you.
hair. You have hair dye with you?
No, it was on the ship.
Oh. Find ship tomorrow, so.
How's the cat been? Okay, so you head back to your camp with Zat Qualmi in pursuit, and you arrive back, and Boomer and Variel, you see Ack returning with a little gnome. Yeah.
Hey! Found gnome. Ack found gnome. Look. From airship.
Hello. I understand that there are some people here from Feneria.
Him. Variel elf is he's from.
Are you a captain of the guard? Are you out here with forces securing the area?
No, we are not.
Why not? There's been major incidents for the last few weeks. We're heading to the city to fetch troops.
We were on a separate mission, and we are on our way back, and have diverted to come to your aid.
Well, I'm quite all right, but my fellows will appreciate your assistance. And he kind of points, very assured of his gesture. It's over that way, he says, and that's the way you guys were going to go.
What assistance do they need? You seem distressed.
Well, I assume the rigging will be broken, the stanchions will be fractured, the hull will probably cracked in several places, the outriggers will be tangled beyond belief. There's going to be so many repairs for us to do. I'm going to be busy for a long time.
And the guard are there because they can help you with these repairs? You said you were going to get guards.
Well, we weren't intending to crash the airship, my good fellow. We were
Why not
intending
the
to go
airship
to
down?
Veneria to fetch troops to help us with what's going on in the elemental ocean.
Right.
There's something strange going on the Leviathan. We need some of your mystic fellows to come and
Yes.
help us.
Look, we've got
Um,
one of them. He's sleeping.
You kind of all turn around, and it's at this point that you see Rubric kind of sitting, like under under a thick branch to cover themselves from the rain.
All
Um,
right.
their hair slightly billowing around.
So when one of the tentacles landed recently, some undead type fish men jumped
these
out.
Sahaugin, they've been attacking the city. We've not had any kind of incident like this in Knekelvang for a very long time.
Okay. Well, we met some yesterday and they're all dead. So,
well, congratulations. That's very good.
Rubric keep talking about corruption. Yeah, corruption of things and stuff going bad. Best talk to him.
Very well. Well,
would you like some food?
yes, I've been up in that tree all day. I tell you what, I'm hungry. Yes, hungrier than a ravaging goblin. Oh, sorry. Yes. Food. Yes, excellent. He kind of goes over to your. I assume you've got some of the meat from the previous nights that you've kind of cured and kept good. So he kind of tucks into that.
What brought the ship down?
Oh, some lash from I think it was a tentacle. I was down behind below decks trying to get the engine working as powerfully as it could. We needed more lift. It just wasn't happening. I don't know what was going on.
How you survive jumping? How you float?
He lifts up his hand. He's got a ring on his finger.
I'm only laughing because
I'm married.
at the top of the episode when Farrell said, "Oh yeah, they had rings of what was it,
featherfall." Yeah.
And you kind of laughed it off like, like they just It's like I've come up with something far more creative than that. And then when it gets to that point in the scene, he's got ring of featherfall.
No,
obvious.
Yeah, I mean the simple thing, works. Yeah.
It should have been a ring of featherfall that was about wide enough to go all the way around his middle and great big fat thing. A life raft.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
A rubber ring.
A rubber ring of featherfall that you can throw out and they grab it and then they just like, boom. That would be awesome.
I'm going to steal that for my airship game.
Yes, do. That's cool. We're going to have them on the next airship you find. Okay.
How about umbrellas of featherfall? They only work when they're open.
Cool.
You have to jump out holding onto this umbrella.
I like that. I like that. That is very good. Okay. Sorry. What did Boomer say?
I asked what brought the ship down, and you said you were working on the.
I think there was a lash from the tentacle. We were escaping to warn the elves. I mean, we've had a long-standing, trade agreement, affiliation, and mutual protection pact. We haven't had to call upon it for at least nearly 100 years, I don't think.
There was a day before a tower seemed to come down.
Yes, one of the sky towers, one of the docking towers. It was destroyed. Apologies if that caused you any trouble. You kind of look back over your shoulder and there's like in the distance half of a tower kind of sticking out of the trees.
Boomer's a bit perplexed by gnomes and the fact that surely hundreds of people probably died in a tower collapse, but the gnome has felt the need to apologise to a goblin. He's
very polite.
Doesn't understand gnomes.
Brusque and polite, yeah. He's tucking into the food as well as you're saying this, kind of slurping through it. It's terrible.
Do you think
it's
you'll be able to repair the ship?
The ship? Oh, I don't know. From up the tree, I could see a few fires, but they weren't large. I hope they haven't really spread to any key areas, and I particularly hope the crystal is intact. Otherwise, we're in a bit of trouble. But fingers crossed.
Is there any way if we signalled Would other people come here?
They would probably be heading towards the ship.
Okay.
Any other kind of signal? If someone set off some sort of light or flare or fire, I would assume that there was a Braktagar force in. I mean, you do know that sort of behind you there's a large force of people about a day away.
There aren't
Right.
that many.
Chasing us.
Yes, I could see them from the top of the tree. He goes, and one of his eyepieces kind of extends ever so, not like, but like just like pops out a bit, like it could magnify slightly.
See from tree. You sure? Day away. Long way to see.
There was some sort of hill.
Okay.
Yes.
You know nothing about no hills.
Right.
Ah.
Oh. So
Me.
The gnome's got a device that
yeah, he's like, hang on, one of the team's calling me. It's got the ship answer phone. Shit. Okay, so while this is going on, Rubric, you are vaguely aware in the distance of another voice, a new voice, but you put it aside as the astral plane. Ethereal plane descends over you as you go into your trance. And you stand looking about you in this, remember, it's kind of like a ocean drifting plankton world with shafts of light coming through. It's a copy of the world that you inhabit, but it has a kind of oceanic feel to it whenever you see it because of your faith in the Leviathan. I mean, everyone knows that it's real, it's up there, it's dreaming, and everyone's getting some of its dream through the ethereal plane. And you can see people moving around, but they're as mere shadows, and you're no longer really interested in what they are doing. And you find yourself drawn to a slight rise in the ground, and you kind of step up there, and you can see behind you where you were and where you burnt that previous tentacle. You can now see like a light shining from there, and you feel comforted by that. It is a bluish green but positive source of energy for you.
Like a cauterized wound.
Yes,
It
very
hurts,
much
but
so.
it's better than the necrotic tissue.
Turning around, you can see ahead in the trees about a day away, and the end, like the tip end of a tentacle above the trees, and it is moldy and encrusted and flickering as if not fully in control of itself.
Okay, I shall reach out to it with my mind and sort of summon it towards me, whilst calling on the power of the scales to surround me in like a shield wall, moving shield wall thing.
Okay. Let's have an occultism roll.
It's a bit more like it.
It's pretty good. So as you kind of reach out to it with your mind and you draw the ethereal shapes of the scales to you, so their physical form stays where it is.
Yeah, physical.
But if you remember,
up.
they kind of were smoother and cleaner and looked more like scales. The smaller ones come to you, not the larger one. And they drift and float around you.
Was the small one the good one, or were the big ones? Was the big one the good one?
When I mean big one, I mean the main one. Remember, they had peeled off of it.
With you,
Yeah. So that one is a bigger one,
Yeah.
as more
And then
powerful.
these are the shards of
Yes,
that one.
exactly. And they kind of float around you, and they're kind of drifting around you in the inkiness of the water as you kind of reach out and beckon this tentacle towards you. And you can see that its movement stops, and almost as if the tip of the tentacle was like an eye, it looks at you, it points towards you, and it's struggling to move towards you. And you can vaguely hear in the distance a grinding, mechanical, restrictive, enclosing sound.
I'm going to turn up the juice on the summon a little bit, like a full-on Super Saiyan, big shooting lights up into the sky. Come get me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make another occultism roll. Outside of the ethereal plane, you are
Oh, that one's not so good.
all aware that Rubric is moving in their sleep, in their trance. Not walking around or anything, but like body jerking and moving. Something is clearly going on with Rubric, but it is getting late now, and I don't know whether you all wanted to go to sleep and rest, or if you want to do anything else.
I think we just set a guard, 2 hours each, rest when we can, get up early, leave, eat.
Rubric, you've been given a
Worried
reroll.
of
Yeah.
Braktagar.
Oh, do what now? I've been given a reroll.
Yep.
Well, we'll load the cart up
Sweet.
tonight. So all we've got to do is chuck the horses on, get the horse on it and we can go.
Mhm.
I don't think the Braktagar are going to arrive tonight.
Okay, so you guys prepare the camp to break in the morning and start to get your rest. Rubric, you reach out once again with your mind, and you can feel now the presence of the Leviathan above and behind you, far away, but paying attention to what you're doing. And you feel this resonance through the shards of the scale that are drifting around you, almost as if they are forming a lens through which it has a greater focus on you. And you reach out, and this tentacle almost kind of elongates. It doesn't look like the base of it moves, but it looks like it just gets longer, and it starts to come towards you. And in the ethereal plane, distances kind of get a bit fluid.
Yeah.
And what you're not aware of also is that you are moving towards it, or you're kind of from both ends truncating the space between you.
Mm. Yeah,
And
if
you
we
get
take
to
out the intervening space, then the problem is solved.
exactly, and you get to a stage where this tentacle is now in front of you, within interaction distance in this realm, and it is clearly a rotting, necrotic, Zon-infested appendage of the Leviathan, or one of the Leviathan's kin. You're aware that there's not, the big Leviathan, but there's large creatures in there as well.
So where does it fall on the spectrum of the one that I was able to heal to the one that fell out of the sky?
It's kind of halfway in between.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like it is becoming more like the one that fell out of the sky, which was fully gone and just was spawning those undead creatures out of it. Whereas the one you'd seen before was like a reach out to you, like a call for help. This
Can
is
it be
somewhere in
saved?
between. You are unsure right now. You think that if you were to try and put all 3 of these shards
Lesser scales. Yeah.
onto it, you may heal it.
Then that is what I will do.
Okay.
I'll form them up into 3 much sort of smaller lance-like shapes and fire them into it.
Okay. Let's have. I think this is breaching into the world of Arcana.
Ooh.
So I think we'll have an Arcana roll to see how well you achieve this. 18. Okay. So these 3 things kind of you're still a lesser priest in the order of
Not even a
Dreamer.
priest.
Well, yeah, lesser member of the Lucid Eye. So your skills aren't fully honed, but as you're standing there, you're quite pleased with yourself, with the way these 3 scales sort of form up into a triple prong in front of you. And the first one flies towards it and hits it. You need to take 1d8 points of psychic damage as the resultant scream of pain as you refuse parts of the dreamer echo across the ethereal plane and hit you. So let's I'll let you roll that 1d8.
Oh, thanks.
And everybody else make a will save.
Oh, good skills, me.
6 points of damage for Rubric. Also, Rubric, you will not be rested after this.
Oh,
Whoa!
I
Ak
figured.
is on fire tonight with the rolls.
Oh,
No rerolls needed there. Oh, Boomer. Variel. Okay. Ak, Variel, you keep sleeping. Nothing happens. Boomer, you take 1 point of psychic damage and you kind of wake up.
Ugh.
It's the middle of the night.
It's that thing where you trip up in your sleep and you jerk awake because your legs kick.
Yeah, like
I
Inception.
don't know if anyone else gets that. That's something like.
Mhm.
I believe that's a common thing.
Ah.
Otherwise, I just look strange.
Be worse. From the amount of damage I just took, I'm pretty sure that blood is currently pouring out of my eyes.
Ears, probably.
Is nice.
Oh no, Leon, you take 1 point of damage.
I thought you said 1d6.
No, you take 1 point of damage and wake up.
Okay.
Okay, so one of them has refused with the tentacle. Let's have another
Maybe
Arcana
2 more
roll.
to go.
Have another Arcana roll.
I've got the hit
Now
points
that you
for
know
it.
you know what's going on, you're also going to get a will save for
Against the
half
psychic
damage
scream.
against the psychic scream for half damage. Oh, that's good enough. Yes. So the second one flies into it. Boomer, as you awake, you feel a gust of wind pass over, just howls through in a kind of eerie fashion as you're trying to get back to sleep. Okay, so now everybody make a will save. Nice. Okay, you're all okay. So,
wow.
Rubric, you roll 1d8 and take half, or roll 1d4, up to you.
Snuggle into my ball blanket.
Yeah.
I'm rolling all the big numbers
Yeah,
on
you're
the
doing
tax
really well.
on me.
Yeah. Okay, and as the second one hits it, you now feel this kind of flow of positive energy through the ethereal plane. Everyone's having really nice dreams tonight, whoever is dreaming regularly. They are positive, affirmative. Health and vitality seem to be the kind of theme of them, however that plays out for your character. Apart from Rubric, you are kind of standing there now, full on hair. There's this ethereal kind of conduit channel flow going past you, and you have one scale left to do.
One more. Oh, come on, Rubric. Let's roll above 10 for once. Or not.
Ah, I'm afraid you may need to use a hero point.
Unless we've got our second hero points.
Well, no, you got given one, but you'll start with one, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Wait.
And I've
Oh, you just
It's
got
like
one
I-
from
Oh,
just been
please
given
forever,
one by Please Forever.
1974. Thank you very much.
Saving the
got there
day.
quicker than me.
Oh, good Lord. Not quick
Oh,
enough.
it's the burn the hero point cycle, isn't it?
Okay.
Does this mean you
Right.
take extra damage and you have
Yes.
to do it
No, I'm
again?
going to burn my
No, no.
remaining hero point, the
Oh,
one that
okay.
keeps me alive.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So, you the kind of power of Zon you can now feel is resisting against you, and it's kind of the ethereal ocean that's flowing past you has kind of faint tendrils of what look like kind of octopus ink or a kind of black sooty kind of necrotic kind of flow, and threads of it come past you and are trying to distract you as you go, but you
Yeah,
focus.
but this is exactly what we need the fire for.
And you're
This
like-
is what the fire's for.
Yeah, and then your fire, the world lights up in a, because you're underwater right now, a blue greeny kind of flame all around you, and you thrust the shard of the scale into the tentacle. Everybody make will saves.
Oh, good.
Oh,
It's always going to happen.
okay. So I'll roll it this time because it's for multiple people. Huh, okay. So anyone who failed, which was Rubric and Ak, you take 1 point of psychic damage. Ak,
I'm
you
glad
wake
you were
up.
rolling, not rubric.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
I'll get you guys to roll it from now on. Thank you, Please Forever, for your spending your Garblag Groats on rerolls. Much appreciated by the players. So, yes, the third one goes into it, and as it does, a kind of ripple goes along the flesh of this tentacle, peeling along it. And you see the skin returning to its kind of grey, bluey.
Are we all
green.
past this dream now? Is it still just rubric?
No, you're woken up. You're disturbed, and you know
Okay.
something weird's going on around you in the dream land. You can see Rubric kind of sitting there, their hair kind of flowing around
think,
behind them.
An instant prestidigitation effect will probably be kicking on as well, like subconscious cantrip.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm still enjoying my nice dream.
Boomer,
Yeah.
you think we should wake him?
No. I think he knows what he's doing.
And as the skin then heals along the tentacle, it moves in a much more languid, smooth kind of motion, side to side, and then the tentacle dissolves into a million fish of all different shapes and sizes, and they swirl around you, a shoal reflecting the moonlight 1,000 different ways, and you're kind of dazzled for a moment in this beautiful scene of joy and gratitude as they swirl around you repeatedly, and then they go up into the sky, back to the elemental ocean above, and the world around you settles into the slow drift of ethereal plankton once again. Have another hero point.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Cool. Okay.
At which point I shall wake up, stand up, shout something in Celestial, and then fall over forwards.
Unconscious?
Yeah, I told you he was
Oh,
fine.
yes.
That fine? Okay. What did he
He's
say?
sleeping.
Weird. I'll prod him. Is he sleeping or dead?
To sort
Bit
of roll
half-
over when prodded.
Somewhere in between.
You sure he's okay?
I put a blanket underneath his head as a pillow.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be fine.
And then you go back to sleep. Okay, so morning comes and Rubric is stiff and has quite a headache. The rest of you have had your regular kind of sleep. In fact, it's a really nice night's dream. You feel something kind of positive and upbeat and a bit more healthy for some reason this morning, like it was a really good sleep.
I'll go hunting early.
Okay.
I'll
Survival
tell
roll,
one
please.
of I'll tell one of the people I'll meet them on the road kind of thing, and I'll go hunting to try and.
Martin says, "Can I come with you, Variel?"
Yes, of course you can.
Excellent.
Ack wants to get going soon as daylight, because
But you'd kind of packed
Braktagar
everything
on
up,
way.
hadn't you?
That's fine.
Yeah.
You just get going. I
Wagon will be
imagine
lighter.
I imagine when we get there, there'll be quite a lot of hungry gnomes. So
We'll sling Rubric in the back of the cart and
yeah.
and head.
Okay. Right, that's
I
not
might
very
have
good.
to use a hero point for that.
Oh, hang
Oh,
on,
that's a
I've
bit
got
better.
thingies.
There you go.
I should
Okay.
give Martin a lot of praise and let him take the killer shot.
Okay. Cool. Yep. And you, what animal do you take down?
Yeah, I think it would either be like a bunch of rabbits, or it'd
Okay.
be like a deer or something.
Okay, bunch of rabbits. That's
Rabbits.
cool.
So we'll
So
go
come back with a
brace of
whole load of
conies.
them.
Is it a brace when
That's
it's a load
two.
of rabbits?
It's a brace.
Brace is
two.
We need
Yeah.
more than two.
Yeah. So a bunch.
Feed some gnomes.
Ah.
Yeah,
Warren.
Yeah.
Warren of rabbits.
yeah. And then we can skin them on the way back to catching up with the wagons,
Yeah.
and then I can give Boomer a whole load of rabbit pelts.
Skinning on the
The
run
big
is a little bit tricky.
No, because we will have gone ahead, and we'll be
Oh, okay.
waiting
You're
for
gonna.
the.
Oh, okay.
for the
Right. So
po-
you're gonna go ahead.
basically, we'll just
Right.
yeah,
Gotcha.
we'll go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll hunt in the direction that the wagon's going to travel,
Okay.
and then they'll obviously catch us up.
Cool. Okay. So you you head off to hunt, and the rest of you with the wagon. As you are going to the wagon, you can see that the three smaller shards that were wrapped in cloth and material, it's actually empty now. They're gone. There is just the one central shard of scale left, the main scale.
Don't worry about that. I did it. Rubik looks like absolute hammered shit. Sunken eyes, really sort of tired, vulnerable looking, blood stains on the collar.
Yeah, we're doing a great job of looking after you.
I'm fine.
He's got a
alive.
whole load of healing potions. I
Ack
gave him loads of healing potions.
Nope, I've used pretty much all the ones you gave me.
think you need
I might
good
have one
nights.
left.
Good nights staying awake.
You can have
Think you
one of my.
might not be
elixir
wrong.
of- I have an
Okay.
elixir of life potion if you'd like one.
No, keep hold of it for later. I'll just ride on the wagon
Okay.
and drive if we need it. The
Do you want to
damage
hold on
is
to it?
the damage is in here. I have one that Variel gave me.
If you spend the day doing nothing but sleeping on the back of the cart, I'll let you recover 3 hit points.
Woohoo.
Which
I'm
is
not gonna
basically
sleep.
what you get from resting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
not going to sleep.
No, not sleep, but but just like
Nothing but just sit on the wagon.
Yeah, doze occasionally, read a book, whatever. But
Yeah.
resting effectively on the wagon for the whole day, I'll let you recover 3 hit points.
All right. Well,
That's how
I should do
generous
that
I
then.
am.
Truly, you are a noble man.
Okay, so
I'm not that seriously injured, but
yeah,
all psychic damage,
it's pretty hard going.
all delivered in this spec. Plus, an interaction with not one but 2 divine beings at the same time.
It's pretty draining.
It's going to take it out of you a bit.
Absolutely. So you make your way with the wagon, and as you are getting towards the end of the day, you can see ahead smoke coming out of the trees, and as you get even closer, what looks like the top of the airship poking out between the trees.
Hey, look. There it is.
Yes. Excellent. He climbs up your back onto your shoulders, Ack, to have a look. Yes. Oh, I need to get closer to have a proper investigation of the full scale of the damage. Looks like small fires burning. We should get there quickly and put those out.
Keep heading towards it.
Yeah, I
Okey-dokey.
don't think the wagon was deliberately going slow, but yeah.
No, absolutely not. So,
Depends how many stones there are in the road.
hang on, just changing maps.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I played this map on Guild Wars.
Have I ever told you guys how much I love airships?
Yeah, airships are cool, aren't they?
Airships are very cool.
Yeah.
Me an
So,
airship.
as you
Teetering on the edge of a
arrive,
precipice.
we're not dangling.
Yeah.
It's just like come to rest, just at the edge of some sort of low cliff. There's kind of fog and stuff ahead. It's kind of dark. You can't really see what's down there, but you know the surrounding land. There's no kind of huge drops or anything. If anything, that's just like a little escarpment that would probably slide down onto land, 30 or 40 feet below. But from where you are, you can't see what's going on. What you can see is this swathe of destruction that has kind of, as it's ploughed through the trees, smashing trees asunder. And also you can see destabilizing the ground, because you remember the ground here is that kind of very fractured limestone pavement. And there are small fires burning in trees, and this, in the swath behind it, the debris there, and there are some fires burning on the airship itself. We don't have tokens on here. This is just for visuals.
Boomer,
What's the blue bit?
can you see those fires as well?
Good question, Ak.
Yes.
Okay,
Those
good.
are-
So it's not just me.
Oh,
It's
good.
not just you.
Ak, you can see the eagle-eyed Ak sees a blue crystal about 10 foot high that is kind of stuck in the ground. And as you look at the back of the airship, you can see that kind of the lower deck has been torn apart, and it's kind of exposed. You could kind of walk into the airship at ground level where you are.
Ejected the warp core.
Zach, exactly. Zach Crowley says, right, if it's all the same with you, I'm going to go and check it out. Could you perhaps be good people and help by putting out some of these fires? He points up onto the deck. If you can get up there and put that out, that would be fantastic. I'm just going to go and check the crystal housing to make sure I could get it back inside if I need to. Is that okay? And he doesn't wait for your answer. He just kind of runs off towards his airship.
No,
Because-
wait. I'll go. I'll follow the
What?
gnome.
Okay, you follow the gnome. Okay.
Look, can you climb and see if Braktagar coming? How far? Because we're slow in cart. Are they near here? Near us? Can you check,
I'll climb a tree and have a look.
please?
Yes. Well, if you let me up in the rigging, I'd definitely be able to see.
Yeah, go in rigging. That's what. Yeah. Hi.
Okay. He
Hi.
you see him go off, and he starts to kind of climb up the side of the boat, of the airship.
I
I'll go and look at
assume I can put out fires. It's like starting fire, but the opposite, right?
That's what I was thinking. Putting out?
Are there any other gnomes?
How does that work?
So as you look around, you can see various bodies dotted around.
Right.
And it looks like not everybody was able to get out in a safe fashion.
Ariel loots the bodies.
There are some dead bodies on the airship. There are also a few sort of in the trees and on the land around. You can't see anyone moving.
Okay.
Zach Crowley has kind of climbed up. He's a nifty, nippy little fella, and he's kind of clearly knows this airship, very well. He's gone up the side, over some rope, over the board, through here, up there, and he's halfway up the rigging. By the time you guys get level with the 10-foot crystal that's kind of sitting on the ground, it's got sort of iron bands around it with kind of bits coming off where there are kind of wooden sections that are kind of wrenched and torn, broken. So it looks like it was kind of clamped into somewhere and it's kind of torn out.
I'd probably start trying to put out some of the fires.
Okay.
Like the
Cool.
gnome requested. And
Okay.
maybe try and pull some of the bodies to the side if they're close to the fires. But if the
Okay.
fires look urgent, then I'll put the fires out.
Yeah. Okay. So most of the bodies are gnomes. There's a couple of dwarves. And they are all wearing.
I can't pull a dwarf.
They are all wearing a uniform that is a blue and grey quartered with kind of some sort of symbol in the middle that you think is obviously the kind of Knekelvang coat of arms. Oh, hang on. Bear with me one moment. My hot chocolate has arrived.
Priorities.
That's very nice.
Do you think this crystal was like fell out? Or did they
Big crystal.
eject it?
I think while when the bottom got ripped out, it probably just got dislodged.
Look much
can
nicer
lift it?
than scale. Can we keep dump scale and keep crystal?
I think they need the crystal to fly the airship.
Airship not flying again. Look at it.
Have you seen that gnome? I don't think he's going to take kindly to not thinking the airship's going to fly again.
I heard
If they
about
are
an
as close
airship.
as I dreamed them, then we're going to need that airship.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I heard about a twin-hulled airship that crashed in the desert, and everyone rebuilt it into a new one-hulled airship.
Look, we have one gnome. Look, lots of gnomes to fly airship. Most gnomes dead. Can't fly airship with one gnome, or build airship with one gnome.
No.
Speaking of the gnome, Zach Crowley has reached like below the main kind of balloon on top in the rigging, and has kind of stopped and is looking. And he kind of shouts down, "They're getting closer. They're definitely less than half a day behind us now."
Must keep moving. We must keep moving. The airship, nice, but
This is my airship.
I'm not saying to him. He's helped the rigging. I'm saying it to.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry.
Mostly to Rubric. Rubric is look. We need to keep going.
Still going to catch us.
Nearby.
Yeah, but they're still going to catch us because they're moving faster than we were. Yesterday they were a day away. Today they're half a day away.
But reach town day away. We reach there before Braktagar. Stay here. Braktagar catches lots of Braktagar.
Or we get the airship
Braktagar.
up. If we can get the airship up and running in the next couple of hours, I don't know how easy that is to do. But if we can get this thing flying again in the next couple of hours, that deals with the problem entirely. Because we go straight to Feniriath. We don't bother stopping at Nith Roel.
Maybe, but lots and lots of gnomes can't make airship fly. Why? How one gnome make damaged airship fly?
Are there any other survivors here?
Not that you can see. No, there seem to be, and Zach Crowley now is coming down, and he's got a rather sad look on his face as kind of the gravity of the situation has hit him, and his crew are largely dead. He's sort of rubbing his head, and this is beyond my calculations. He's kind of looking through. He's kind of got notebooks and little parchments and things, and they all seem to have like schematics and drawings of airships on them. And he seems to be searching them for answers that he's not going to find.
Zach, is this going to be able to fly again?
He turns around. It'll fly again. Give me 3 weeks and a crew of engineers, and we'll get this baby up in the air again.
You've got about half a day.
You've got 6 hours and one goblin alchemist.
Not sure.
I'm sorry, my friend.
How long did you say? 6 hours.
Braktagar are behind us and they're catching up. We can either run now and hope to make it to Nith Roel, or we can get some. Does this thing have a captain's launch or a life raft or something, a smaller version of it?
The outriggers can go on their own, but they need lift. They need some sort of. We normally launch these things from giant stalagmites on the top of a bottom of another plane of.
I know. I'm from
existence.
Glorim. I've
There's,
seen the airships fly, but you've got 6 hours.
I'm not sure I can do it, my friend.
If
The
wait
crystal.
6 hours, Braktagar here, fail. Leave now,
Okay.
we have
Exactly.
a chance.
We either
What's
leave
the-
now and head for
Do we-
Nith Roel.
Do we try
Or-
and recover the crystal?
Grab that.
Stick it.
If we
stick it in
grab
the
one
back of the
thing,
car?
grab the crystal, then they won't be able to get this thing up in the air. The main thing that thing does is allow you to get aloft.
Right.
And
How
stay
heavy
aloft
is-
long enough for you to catch the currents and get flying.
So can we not use that on
Put
one of your
crystalline
outriggers?
outrigger. Put crystalline outrigger, would that work?
The outrigger will. No, the engine's in the main ship. The outrigger will
Okay.
let you land and.
Okay. Is safe to touch? I shall go.
Okay, just be careful with it. It's safe to touch. Just don't break it.
I'll get the
Um,
cart nearby and is it
yeah.
liftable? I mean, how heavy is this thing?
It's 10-foot
Alright.
crystal, so you'll need a few of you. But Martin and Eredwir come over. They
Yeah,
look
I'll go
like
and help.
they've suddenly realised that someone needs something lifted, so they come over and they start helping to manoeuvre things.
Yeah, Eredwir does more damage.
Zach
with this than
Qualmy
she does
says,
with her axe.
I believe I could fit some runners on your cart, and it may make it easier for it to move about on this terrain. Those wheels aren't terribly good with tree stumps and roots and
They
things,
really are
etc. I could potentially, but that might take me a couple of hours.
No, must move.
What's
I'll go
the
and check
balloon
on some of the gnomes in the trees to see if any of them are.
We could just leave the
If
wagon.
they're all dead.
Oh no, but we need to take the crystal.
Scale. You want scale,
Yes, but there's only one scale now.
but scale big.
It's big, but it could be manhandled.
Okay.
So can we get the scale and the crystal on the same car?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. So that's
So
what
we'll
we're going
do
to do,
that.
aren't we?
We'll do that.
You're going to put the large source of magical power next to the.
Large source of divine power.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's cool. So you get it onto the back there, and Zach Qualmy
Wait, will this crystal work on the cart? Will it
I think you
negate
need
the
an
mass of
engine.
the cart?
No. There's some complex machinery and equipment that's required in order to do such.
Do we need to?
He runs
do
off.
we need to-
He runs off into the back of the.
He's gone.
Goblin. Sorry, I don't know your name.
Boomer.
Boomer. Could you help me? Seems to
Sure.
reconsider asking for your help when he realised you're called Boomer. I assume you're good with your hands and tools.
Yes.
There's
And
a
yes.
couple of bits of machinery I could use your help with removing. If we could, I might be able to get a small effect working on your cart.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to start trying to drag gnome corpses onto one of the
I think generally
outriggers.
there's been onto the outriggers.
Yeah, if we can get them onto the outriggers, then we can torch the whole boat. They get a decent burial, and Braktagar get denied the airship.
There's cannons on the airship. That means there's gunpowder.
There are cannons.
There's also a gigantic bladder full of some kind of hot gas. I wonder if it's a useful one.
Yeah. Yes. So
I'm going to search the ship. I'm looking for
Okay.
a blue hair dye.
Okay. Right. Okay. You search through the ship. You go in the back because he said he was in the engine room, and as you're looking in there, you can kind of see that there's loads of strange clockwork machinery, some things with pipes and tubes, some area that looks like a giant crystal kind of slotted into it and was mounted like on pillars, where some of this machinery kind of has kind of weird glass apertures that would press against it, and you kind of find a side room which is clearly his kind of dwelling, as it's got kind of drawings and pictures of airships all over, pinned to all the walls. He's got a bed in the corner that's just like never been changed. It's messy and dirty. There's kind of plates dotted around it. It's kind of obviously all gone all over the place as well, since the place crashed. But you see a little, like a ceramic jar with a cloth over the top, and down the side 4 blue finger streaks.
Cool.
I'm
Okay, I'll
loving
take.
that every other gaming group in the world would take one look at this and go, they've got feather fall rings and a magic airship. We're having it. And we've taken one look at it and gone, we need blue hair dye and an explosion.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant.
I'm gonna take some of that and put it in my hair.
Okay,
And
cool.
sweep my hair back, so I've got blue spiked hair. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm then gonna run out and go boomer, 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 boomer. Look, boomer, boomer. Aka gnome.
As you do it and you run out of the room, Zat and Boomer are actually in the engine room, and he kind of looks round at you like,
Look, aka gnome. I'll run out.
You run out.
You look 3 foot shorter.
I assume you have him around to hit things, yes? He says to Boomer once Aka's gone.
Destroy hits.
Okay, I'll watch myself then.
Does the balloon? I mean, the balloon flies by itself, right?
It helps to stay. There's a very complicated.
Oh, okay.
It's very.
So we could
complex.
make a hot air balloon.
You could, but in effect, this vessel is too heavy with everyone on board. You'd need a much bigger balloon. What we do is a combination of balloon sails and the anti-weight field of the crystal allow us together and with redundancies to fly. I think the balloon is probably damaged if the ship is so firmly set in the ground.
Okay.
It's got a kind of
Carry on
hard
helping him.
ribbing to keep it in the shape. So don't be fooled by the shape of it. The gas may be escaping. Right. So he kind of rummages around. He goes, that over there. He points at, like, there's this thing with 2 glass kind of cups that would kind of press against where the crystal would sit, and they're kind of tubes and things coming off them to something that's bolted to the deck. He's like, right, I need your help removing that. If we can get that off and attach that to the cart, then the crystal should make the cart a bit lighter. I may need to just etch a couple of runes as well. But let's go. Right. Okay. Right. Let's have a crafting roll, please, Boomer.
16.
Okay, so you start to unsecure it without breaking anything. You realise that certain parts of it are slightly looser than others, so you kind of secure them before you move it. It takes you about an hour to safely remove this. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a hero point to roll again and try and do it slightly faster.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yes. Okay, so it takes you
less than 1 second.
Takes you half.
Instead of you spending a hero point on that, I'll buy you one.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's be honest, I've got 14,000 groats just sat here from all the time I've spent checking in on Garblack that I can't spend on me.
Fair play. Okay, so it took you 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And Zach Qualmy at a couple of points has to go outside to the cart to, like, look at where you're going to put it and then come back. And while you're doing it, he's like, I'm just measuring where to put the holes and the etchings. Oh, you've done. He's like pleasantly surprised by your aptitude. He's like, oh yes, oh you did that bit on your own. Oh, Right, anyway, here we go. You might want to get that chap back. He looks like he can lift stuff. You realise this thing is quite heavy.
Ack, we need your gnomish strength.
I'll come over.
Your hands are blue as well, by the way, because you've just got
As
like
is
this.
everything he's
Yeah,
touched.
and like
in the
your axe
intervening
handle
time.
is blue, your sword handle is blue. There's blue handprints on your trousers. You know, you kind of got it. You're not used to this. It's kind of got everywhere. There's a big blue handprint on your book, which is slowly growing little moss and things around the edges.
Can you lift this, please, and put it on the cart? But be careful.
Okay.
Okay, so you
I will
lift
try
it
and
up,
lift it up.
and you take all three of you together. Take care to do it. While they're doing that, Variel, what are you up to, if anything?
So I'm going to check. I'm going to check in the trees
Mhm.
to see if any of the gnomes are like Zach, just in a tree, to see if any of them are actually alive or
No,
if there's any signs of life.
There's no one kind of hiding safely.
I might do a little bit of looting whilst I'm there, but not a great deal. And then I'll check if there's any tracks around the site to see if anyone's
Survival.
wandered off
Survival.
in any direction.
Oh, excellent. As you're moving around the where are we? This area over here. You see that?
No, my character sheet's right. Yeah, there.
Yeah. That area. You see that some a rope has been thrown up on the side, or pulled down. You're not sure, but there was a rope dangling down at that area, and there are some footprints leading off into the woods, and they seem to correspond with around the crash time of the ship. The you know how much they've dried and what's fallen on them and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. So how
You think
can I work?
You think about 5 or 6. You're not sure.
Or 5 or 6 bodies, 5 or 6 people.
5 or 6 people, and they're all smaller feet, like a gnome's foot.
Okay. How long can I? Okay. Can I have an idea on how long I think how far I think a gnome could travel, and whether if I took
they could get to
horse.
Nith Roel from here.
So there's a good chance they've actually just gone to Nith Roel. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, as far as you were concerned, when you saw the thing flying, that's the direction it was going in.
Right. Okay. So any survivors will have gone that way.
You think
that's
so?
Fine.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. After I will let him know.
Once he finishes doing his grease lightning trick on the cart, we might be able to catch him up a little bit.
Yeah, I shall let him know that I've got some tracks that may well help.
Okay.
Well, then there does look like there's other survivors, so I'll let him know.
Okay. But he's kind of like, as you come over to tell him this, they're kind of securing everything onto the thing, and he pauses for him. And he says, "Well, thank you, Mr. Sir Elf. Was it Variel? Is that your name?
It.
Sorry, there's a lot's happened today, the last few days.
Zach,
yes.
Could Braktagar repair the airship?
Not when I'm finished with it.
I don't think they're that advanced, are they?
Well, they've got some people with them.
There's a lot of cannons on there.
They've taken hostages. They could enforce people if they've taken hostages.
What's in the airbag? Is it just normal air?
I know. I think all the gas will have escaped.
It's a rigid shape apparently, so it stays like that even if there's nothing
as
in
you look up, you can see that there's kind of metallic rings all the way down it, and it's kind of secured, so it's not.
I will put the fire back.
Okay.
I know this ship is important to you, Master Gnome. However, we cannot let it fall into the hands of Braktagar's forces, even just for the cannons.
We should.
I'll ask him where the armory is on board.
Midships, first deck.
Okay. I'll go and loot it. Basically,
Okay.
I'm
You
gonna
go into
take
Constant
what-
looting.
You go into the armory of a Knekelvang war airship,
Mhm.
and in there you find a lot of crossbows, a lot of crossbow bolts, halberds, long hooks, grapples and ropes, and you also find there are sort of 20 rifles lined up. They've not lined up. Sorry, there is a stand for them, but they've kind of all fallen over and sort of dotted around the room. And there's a barrel of gunpowder that's kind of rolled into a corner. Luckily, not uncorked or broken in any way. Oh dear. And some cutlasses as well. It seems to be all kind of boarding air combat style weaponry. So you can fill your boots with crossbow bolts and things.
I will tell Zat that I'm going to bury the rifles nearby, near a tree, so they can be recovered at a later date.
Yes. He points at the uniform that he's not wearing that uniform, by the way. He's wearing like a leather apron-y type thing. He points at one of the people's uniforms, and the symbol on the front of it goes, "Carve that into the tree."
Okay. Is there any? I'll ask him. I'll basically say, look, I'm going to be over. I'll point him in the direction. If there's anything else you want saving, then we can put it over there.
Everything else I'm taking with me. And he goes off to his chambers, and then up to the captain's chambers, and he comes back with a large book.
Yeah. I may keep one of the rifles, and some of the just because I've never shot one before. But I'll bury the rest.
Sure. Okay.
Bring gunpowder.
Yes, obviously.
There
are
quite a few cannons. There's quite a few cannons on board. So a lot of cannonballs and a lot of gunpowder.
Yeah.
So you can take
a
barrel of gunpowder. You could take though. You can't even carry a cannon.
We need that to scuttle a ship.
No.
The gunpowder is for scuttling.
There are like 60 barrels of gunpowder on this
Holy
boat.
Cats. This is going to be fun.
Could we, I mean, if Braktagar turn up at the ship, could we booby trap it?
Don't trust it. What if they deactivate the booby traps? We need to scuttle it and be sure that it's done. We can't leave it behind us.
I think you should make some bombs that you can basically blow them up with using some of it. So if they chase us, you can...
Yeah, rigging the path with bombs is not a terrible idea, but the airship needs to be taken out. So we need to move as much of the gunpowder and as many of the cannons to a central position near the rear of the ship as we can. Put the gunpowder in the middle, and
there's a lot of
Boomer and I will take care of that.
So you can like make probably up to about a 5-minute fuse. You know, if you just reeled it all out and poked it in one end and lit it and ran, 5 minutes later it would probably.
But then we couldn't watch.
You could watch from a safe distance.
I'll get Martin to help me bury the rifles and some gunpowder and stuff.
Okay, so you bury the rifles, you move the gunpowder around. This does all take a bit of time. When Ak, Variel, Martin, Eridwir, and Parak Ravain actually chips in a hand as well, come back, you see that Zat and Boomer have fixed the cart with the blue crystal kind of pointing out the back of the cart, and this machinery is kind of up behind the driver's seat with two glass so kind of apertures kind of pressed against the crystal, and this thing is going and there's a little bit of steam coming out the top kind of thing.
It runs on steam.
Roads where we're going, we don't need roads.
And the wheels of the cart fold in. No, no. It's not sitting as heavily in the soil. Let's put it that way. So you think you can probably travel faster now with it set up as it is.
Must go. Braktagar near. Too many.
You've reeled out this fuse, and it's one end of it, like big snaking bit of like oiled rope, you know. It kind of goes off up onto the deck where there's like 50 barrels, maybe not all in one place. Boomer, you probably recommend, you know, some secondary explosions to help really scuttle it. And you've kind of lined that up all nicely.
Produce flame.
You're not going to let
Everybody,
everyone get away.
jump on the cart and start trying to get the horses going.
Okay, so most of you are moving away as Rubric produces flame and sets it
Where
on
is
fire.
everyone?
Sure, my
Gotta check
horse
everyone's
is
here.
very calm.
Yes, you've all put blinkers on your horses momentarily.
Hands over the ears.
Yeah, and
Kind of going to walk backwards.
okay. I
Rubric,
thought you
it's gonna
don't look
be
back
really
at
loud.
explosions. I thought you didn't look back at explosions.
It's a special case.
It is a special one, isn't it? Okay, so it's taken you a couple of hours now to get all of this done, and you start moving off, and Rubric lights the fuse, and you see the flame going along this. And Rubric, it seems to be taking a really long time. It's achingly long for that little flame to go all the way up to the lovely gunpowder at the top. And the carts now, you know, you've been traveling for 5 minutes, you've got sort of away, and it sort of goes up on a little bit of a rise. And you all kind of glance back, and Zakralmi is looking backwards, and Rubric is kind of within just outside of blast distance. When the first barrel is hit by the flame, there's a huge explosion, followed by a quick concussive kind of echo as the next barrel and the one after and the one up kind of blow. Large chunks of wood, metal, rope flying away in all directions, tearing it apart, and a hole is blasted through the kind of semi solid shell of the balloon, puncturing it fully, and there seems to have been a bit of trace gases left as the top surface of it pops outwards, metal ribs kind of fracturing off like jagged fingers sticking into the air, and more explosions go down the hull of the ship, and it explodes, and it leans and slides off the escarpment down, exploding on the way down as it flies down into some trees below and explodes into a huge eruption up into the air. And it's kind of, and Rubric is standing there, hair, the fire evident in front of you. Slight manic look for the rest of the day on Rubric's face.
Do you think they'll know where we were?
You are finding it much easier to move with this cart now, and you're making your way across the terrain fairly swiftly. The bumps seem dampened down. Tree roots are less of a problem, and you barely feel any stone as you pass over it. And you seem to make your way fairly quickly. So it is less time than you thought. So it takes you instead of your day's travel of kind of 8 hours of constant traveling, it takes you like 4 or 5 hours to get there. And as you arrive, you can see hang on, need to get you guys there as well. You can see the outpost of Nith Roel. Now, if you remember, this is like a little outpost, a forward position for the city of Feniriath to kind of meet with traders outside of the city on some of the other routes, and a mustering point if required, and had a sky dock that ships could dock at, which you can see. And there is actually and these don't quite convey the look of this ship, because this is just what I could get off of Incarnate, our fabulous sponsors. But docked at the tower is an elven skyship, which you don't really see many of. You see them occasionally, but the elves don't tend to go off much. They like the elves of Feniriath, that is. They like to sit in the mountains, licking the icebergs, gaining the magic, and occasionally dealing with other people, if they have to. This thing is white, gold, and blue, and it has sweeping back wings of sails. It has the balloon, semi-hard shell balloon, and this is ornately decorated with the images of a kraken across it, in mainly blues and greens. You can see a crew moving about on the deck from where you are, small figures, and they seem to be prepping things, moving about in the rigging, doing things. It's up in the air, it's going, but it seems to be moored where it is. As you approach Nith Roel, you can see that there are guards stationed out the front, and they kind of hold up a hand as they see this kind of ragtag group of people on a rocket-powered cart coming up the main highway towards the outpost. And this elf kind of steps forward. He's quite tall, not as tall as Variel, but he's quite tall, with a spear and shield. And he says, "Oh there, good afternoon to you. Who goes upon the road?"
Rubric of the Lucid Eye and my party, we bring news. Braktagar forces are less than 5 hours behind us.
Very well.
We're on a mission of some urgency
Off
for
the
the
Lucid
Eye.
Eye, you say?
Yes.
Well, then I feel you will want to get inside Nith Roel, for your
Have,
master, Yaland Lara, has arrived on his skyship.
I will
Excellent.
ask him if other gnomes have already arrived. I'm assuming we didn't pass any of them on the way.
Yes, some gnomes have sought a refuge here within our walls, and we are arranging for their passage further. Some of them have volunteered to help our crew head to Knekelvang, but I prattle on. I see you have important things with you.
Indeed.
Interesting things. I will send a messenger to fetch Yaland Lara. In the meantime, please enter. Be safe. Bear no weapons within the walls, or you will face swift justice. May the dreamer guide you while you sleep, and please, peace whilst here. And the gates open. Nice large gates, krakeny kind of feel to the carving in the front of it. Not a kraken, but there's that kind of feel to the swirls and movements. It's
Tentacly flow.
Yeah, exactly. And the doors open up, and inside there are some trees that have been clearly brought here, transplanted from the slopes of Feniriath. These trees I've marked them out with these pink trees on here, are actually have a blue tinge to their leaves, which is of the region, of Feniriath, so of Ledrya.
So they've
the whole
soaked up some of the water from
Exactly.
the ocean of Glorim.
Exactly. And these are planted around decoratively. And this is a sign of, their people and their culture that they've brought with them. And there are 4 large structures within the walls. And you know that there is the Skydock on the right. There is the Temple to the Dreamer next to it. The Market, Trade and Contract Hall. And then the Armory and Barracks on the left. it's a transient place, and people are constantly bringing in supplies. You can see that from the skydock, the airship is actually unloading lots of supplies as well, and there is kind of a lot of movement going on and people moving around. A couple of guards running to and fro, and a messenger comes back over to you, clearly seeing you all coming in. Master Yalan Lara has asked for me to get your entourage to await them in the temple of the Dreamer, if you would.
Of course. So I guess we'll pull up outside the temple.
Mhm.
We'll need to bring the scale in with us. It's going to be safer here than anywhere else.
Parrot Cruvane says to you, "May I come with you?" Zach Qualmy.
You may bear it into the temple with us.
Thank you. I am honoured. He seems to have gone sort of slightly submissive. Zach Qualmy says, I am going to go and check out that ship and look for my fellow crewmates. Boomer, anytime you want to be crew on an airship, give me a shout. And he kind of runs off. He's not left the site, but he is kind of in a bit of a hurry.
He has, however, left us with a jet-powered wagon.
Yeah, and a crystal.
You can safely assume that he will want the crystal back,
Probably going to want that back.
or to probably take it with him.
You'd expect so, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
But at the very least, take some
that's a loner.
diagrams of it.
That's a loner, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I will supervise watching Variel and Ak carry the scale.
Okay, so you go into the temple of the Dream, and as you can imagine, this place is actually set up for half of it is set up for attending kind of sermons and discussions and contemplation on the dreams that are sent down to us. The other half of the building is actually set up for sleeping, to receive the dreams of the Leviathan. And you pass by chambers, some kind of communal ones with kind of bunks in, others private ones where one can go for, the slightly
specialized dreams.
Well, like the captain of the guard can go and have
Yeah.
his dream on his own, kind of thing, and any dignitaries.
I'm assuming
who
that
come
there's
through
like a
the
big
area.
bowl of water just inside the door. So I'll take a big scoop of that and wash my face and hair back
Mhm.
with that, because it's a sea deity
Yes.
as well as a dream one.
Yes, yes. So you make your way into the main chamber, which is the sermon space, and as you come in, there is a faint hum. You know that thing when there's something on in the room and you can feel the hum, but you can't hear it. The scale, there is a definite feeling coming from this scale that you are bringing in, Ak and Variel, as you are holding it, and you get closer and closer to the altar at the end of the chamber. In fact, it feels like it's slightly vibrating in your hands.
Scale feel weird.
Just lean it against the altar. It's home. It can probably sense the connection in this place.
Should I leave tarpaulin on or take tarpaulin off, Scale?
Leave it on for now. We'll take it off in a moment. This sort of thing deserves a reveal.
Ha! And it's gone. No. It's the old disappearing pig trick. Okay, so I love that film. Okay, so you guys put it up on the altar, and after a few minutes of you kind of shuffling around and looking around this room with fine draperies and nice stonework, it's an impressively built structure. And as one would imagine from elven clergy, spotless. But
a bit scruffy.
Yeah, you are.
Would have liked to have changed first.
Well, you have, and as you think that, the doors open, and 2 guards come in, followed by a third figure, an older elf with a symbol of the dreamer and the lucid eye on a medallion at the neck. Simple, sort of turquoise coloured robe coming into the room. And Rubric, you recognise this to be Master Yelland Lara, who is a very high-ranking priest in the Order of the Lucid Eye, and in fact, one of the people who sent you on your mission in the first place. Kind of like the boss in the back not saying anything. You know, there was a lower priest kind of actually dishing out your orders. Greetings. I understand you have had an interesting journey. And Rubric, I see you have been successful in more ways than one.
I'll bow. Lord Lara, we've completed our mission as requested. There is much to tell you.
Then speak.
I shall whip the tarpaulin off of the scale.
An eyebrow arches, which for an elderly elven priest
It
is stunned shock. And they come forward and reach out a thin, pale hand, and just touches the scale, and nothing occurs for you guys. And
I don't have to chop his head off. So psychically zapping him.
yeah. No, it's okay. Whoops.
Too late.
Now you got to escape. No, I didn't think that was how we're going to end this.
Stick it back on.
Yeah, if you put it on and we walk out, no. Puts a hand on the thing and says, "There were more than one, and I understand you have returned those to the dreamer."
I felt it was needed at the time, my lord. The dreamer reached out to me. It was in pain.
You have always received visions. You have a gift, Rubric. You have a gift. But you were incorrect when you said your mission was complete. The mission never ends. And I have another task for you.
Of course.
My airship. We have come here because things have been getting worse. We have sensed, we have dreamt, we have heard, and we have seen some of your actions from afar. I am also aware of the movements of Braktagar.
John has corrupted the outside edges of the dreamer.
These are dark
There has
days.
been death and destruction rained down from Glorim. Knekelvang was attacked.
I understand. Some of the refugees have returned here and told us of what has happened.
A great tentacle fell from the sky.
Indeed. I believe it attacked the city, and in their defense they severed it, and it fell down to Arlon.
It is dealt with, my lord.
That is. However, we fear that Zon has sent undead creatures to attack Knekelvang again, and we intend to journey there in the morning to help defend the city and to appraise closer what troubles the dreamer.
I'm at your disposal.
And your companions, what do you say? You have proven yourselves as skilled, capable warriors and more, it seems. If you've escaped the forces of Braktagar, the creatures of the Rimwood wilds, collected the fallen scales of a god, and destroyed undead, infected parts of that immortal creature. You are brave folk indeed. Will you aid us further? He looks at Variel like you don't have a choice.
I'm oath-bound to protect This is my calling.
Right
Correct
on an airship.
answer, Variel.
Boomer, do you want to ride on an airship?
Yes.
Ack gets to ride on an airship, like a
I
no.
get to keep
Yes.
blue hair.
Ack
Rubric.
happy. Ack want to go on airship that work,
I am
not
get-
crash like other one.
I am getting too old for such adventures. In my younger years, I remember a time when I went down into the depths of Zadumir, but I won't bore you with such stories right now. Maybe another time if you return from Knekelvang. But yes, I would hope that you could lead this crew up to Knekelvang. The captain knows the way, do not fear. I'm not expecting you to navigate the vessel itself, but to lead their hearts and minds to go and help the people of Knekelvang, who we have a long-standing friendship and partnership that has lasted centuries. We have a mutual protection pact which we have not had to call upon, but they are calling upon it now and we are answering. So we have archers, cannons, troops at your disposal to help the city of Knekelvang. That is your next mission.
And we shall see it done, my lord.
Excellent. Cool. He bows and leaves the room. And that is effectively the end of our adventure, where you accept your next journey and you climb on board the airship to head off to Knekelvang that sits on the underneath of Glorim above you to help the city. So as you can see, I do intend to come back to this story.
Maybe a bath and a hair wash first.
I was going to say a proper bath.
What kind of things would you like to do? Is there anything you guys would like to kind of sum up in the 10 minutes or so, just as what you're doing? Or
Boomer's going to have a quiet word with Rubric to be like, I only quoted for one job. So this isn't inclusive at this point. This is now either overtime or we're re-quoting for the work again. Because I'm not oath-bound. I'm saving up for my workshop.
We'll pay you an exposure, exposing you to gnomes and all of their cool toys.
Barrio?
I'll give Boomer the rings and trinkets and things I looted from the gnomish bodies,
Okay.
so we can see which ones are magical.
Okay. So you've got a collection of
Yeah.
loot, and I assume, I mean, there is a trade hall here, so if you do want to try and like offload some stuff, we can figure that out. You will all
And I will.
you will all go up to level 4.
Yeah.
I believe that's the next level, isn't it? You're level
Next
3.
level, yeah.
Yep. So you gain a level, so you'll be level 4, and we can sell a few things and perhaps buy a few things if you want between now and the next.
And I will draw a map of where the stash is of weapons.
Okay.
And give it to the highest bidder, frankly. Sorry, but did I say that? Did I say that?
Zach Qualmy purchases
no.
that from you.
No, I will give it to him. I'm not selling it to him. I'll give him the location of his stuff.
Well, he says
interested.
he says he's going to come with you.
Yeah, I'll get him to show me how to shoot the rifle.
It's easy, point and click.
Yeah, you have to kind of do stuff with the gunpowder.
Oh yes, that bit, the loading. Yes, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If there's nothing
the reward
else,
for good work is more work.
Are we taking our NPCs with us, or are we letting them go?
That's up to you. Martin would quite happily go with you. Parak Ruvain wants to go.
Yeah.
And Eridweir is kind of like, I've unloaded and loaded loads of ships in my lifetime, so
Being on a ship's good.
I know how to do it. So if you're happy for me to come along,
please do come with us.
Yeah,
you've been a reliable and trustworthy companion. I'm not so sure about Parak Ruvain. I think he might be more of a liability.
Or Ralph, as he's really known.
Yeah, Ralph. I shall turn to him and say, my friend, you need to take this news to Erebag. You need to tell them what's happened here. You need to warn them.
Yes.
Warn them about Braktagar. Tell them what has
They
happened.
know about Braktagar. Oh, you mean
I
their
mean,
activities now?
The
Right.
current
Yes.
activity
Yes.
of
Yes.
Braktagar.
Yeah.
I know they know about
Okay.
Braktagar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, find to be a left-handed paintbrush.
Can you go and fetch some sky hooks? Oh no, that's probably a real thing, isn't it?
Probably a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Skirting board ladder.
When the next when the next trading caravan leaves here to go to Erebag, I will accompany them. In the meantime, I will stay within the temple of the Dreamer and seek counsel from the Leviathan.
A wise decision. And my thanks.
Cool. Ak, anything you particularly want to do, or are you just kind of ready to get? You got your blue
no.
hair dye now.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
I'll go to the top of one of these towers, look as hard as I can, and see if I can look out and see whether if the Braktagar forces are coming to this place, or they're going to stop, but just to see them, see what's going
Well,
on.
it's a good point. So as you climb one of these towers, and you're after a few questions, they kind of let you through and up as high as you can go, and you look out and you can actually see in the distance a thin trail of smoke, a few sort of thin trails of smoke. You think probably from some sort of camp nearby. A few hours.
So not from a giant explosion then.
Well, there's that's happened and been swept away because obviously it's taken you a while to get here. You can see that they've set up some sort of camp a couple of hours that way, and they don't look. You'd think maybe they're reconsidering, attacking Nith Roel. You've seen enough armed elves around here to think, that would be a seriously bad idea for that group because
we think there's lots of them, but nothing like the numbers here. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple of hundred.
There's a lot of
They're
them
not going to be
for you
coming to attack a walled city full of armed guards.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So we shall end it as you've done some trading at the trade house. You've rested the night, and the next day comes, and Serikron, you have Ondrise as Serikron comes round the World Mountain, and shafts of light come across, glistening across the hull of the airship as you ascend the Skydock Tower and walk across the railed gangplank out onto the airship, and a crew of mostly elves. There's a couple of humans aboard, and you can see Zach Qualmy running around sort of pointing at things, saying that's not necessarily the best way to do that. You're going to make a speech?
Yep.
Go for it.
We're going for sort of generic hero speech,
right. So
number one.
Yeah, so the camera pans away.
Yeah, we set forth on this mission to aid our allies in Knekelvang, to restore good and truth to the world, and do what we can to aid the Dreamer while facing the forces of darkness. Don't be afraid, because right is on our, wow.
Yeah, huzzah! And they're actually genuinely quite, they're into it. You can see that these are like the faithful of the Lucid Eye, which for the rest of you is slightly worrying. But for Rubric, that's like, yeah, the gang is here. And the gangplank is removed, and the down in the engine room, some stuff is going on, and at the back, a wizard starts casting sort of air magic, gusts of wind and powerful things to get the ship sort of away from the tower before it can kind of juice itself up and get going. And the ship starts to rise up, and the light of Serikron kind of spreads across the land, and you can see in the distance the Braktagar forces, the ruins where you fought twice, the tower in the distance, the ruin of where that was, the kind of collapse, because all the land kind of collapsed in around it. And as the captain shouts at various people on the thing, they're running around the rigging, pulling on ropes, extending all of the sails, etc., tacking into the wind, and all those sailing things that I have no idea about. This airship starts to move quite lithely up and point sort of in the upward direction, and you start flying into the sky towards Glorim, the layer above you, and the under entrance to the elemental ocean and the city of Knekelvang positioned next to it, to see what awaits you there. And we shall finish our episode there. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to
you.
my players. Hopefully you enjoyed that finale of Tears of the Dreamer. To be continued. And yes, hopefully you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. That was episode 10 and the last episode of this run of Tears of the Dreamer. Pathfinder 2, I've been very much enjoying. I think it's great, twist on the kind of D20 D&D heroic fantasy system. I think it's really cool. And hopefully, our game has helped you guys if you're figuring out Pathfinder as well. And as we said, Pathfinder will continue on the channel in Path of the Pilgrim, Ben's show on Tuesdays from next week.
Going weekly from next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are going to have a slight change to how we're doing the shows on the channel. We could do a bit more Chrome Dystopia, which I'll be doing next Thursday, and 2 weeks after that. But from after that, we will actually be going to a weekly show, and I will be running Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. We're going back to our roots. It's not Flint and Steel Season 4, unfortunately. We're going to wait to be in the studio
it's a
for
new
that.
show, isn't it? It's a bit of a special one.
It is. We're going to be playing the grand campaign, The Enemy Within, which is, the most renowned campaign in role playing, I think.
The classic.
Yeah, the classic. So we will be playing that. We're going to have new characters, slightly changed around cast, and I am really looking forward to getting back to some Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. We are going to be trying out Foundry Virtual Tabletop, because apparently the setup for Woofrup in that is just fantastic, and it does all kinds of shortcuts for you, which sound really good, and it will allow us to focus on the story, which is cool. So we're going to be doing that. And Wednesdays we'll still have our Star Wars every other week, and then in between, Ben's going to be doing some one-shots of World of Darkness. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, all set in the same city, like a New England version of Gotham, if you like. Alchemy, New England.
Cool.
And it's going to be
Godlike
werewolf
extended
first,
universe.
Yeah.
then vampire. But the idea is that there'll be different, slightly different casts, completely different characters, but each of the stories will weave together to make one sort of coherent narrative.
Excellent.
That sounds very cool.
I expect
sounds
nothing
cool.
less, Ben.
I like the idea of that.
Yes, cool. So stay tuned to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those wonderful things. Anything you can do to help us share the message is great.
Just to say, the maps have been great.
Yes.
Yeah, they
For
are.
this whole
Yeah.
the whole run we've done, the maps you created.
Thank you. Well, Incarnate is a
excellent.
very cool tool, and all of this stuff is available. Apart from the top-down maps we did with the battle map style, all of this stuff you can get in the Incarnate Pro version. So there's like I think it's $25 a year. You can get all of the assets. There's a free version which has like a slimmed down version of the assets, which is
Got
still
a long way with the free version.
it is,
It's
yeah,
very
it
good.
is really good, the free version.
For
So
a free version of anything, it's spectacular. I have since upgraded to the paid version, and you do get a lot more assets and a lot more features, and it is very much worthwhile.
yeah, and
if you're going to be
storage.
using it a lot. Yeah.
And all of the maps I've created for this show, and I think we've had sort of 12 to 14 maps, I think now, are available on the Patreon. So please go and check that out. For a few dollars a month, you can support us and help us to get all the software, the kit, the gear, the equipment, the dice, the books, etc., that make it possible for us to run all these games for you guys. So please have a look at that. Our adventurer tier, which is the $4 a month and above, is where you start to get all all the super loot and everything. I mean, there's a $1 tier to support us, which is great, but $4 a month you get all of these maps. Also check out all our social media: Facebook, Twitter, Insta, all that lot. Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday for Path of the Pilgrim with more Pathfinder 2e. Cool. Thanks very much for joining us. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good night.